the scissor sweep now? Okay, so this is a sweep that's usually done from the closed guard, and it doesn't have to be done from the closed guard. Anytime you find yourself in any position where somebody's on their knees and you've got, I could have any variety. I could have a half guard and I could still move into the position.
I do this from butterfly a lot, where I move in and then just kind of
I do it more often from not closed guard than I do from closed guard. Because it can be actually, if somebody knows that you like the scissor sweep, just go elbows to knees and just like crowd my hips. They can actually make your life very, very difficult if all you're trying to do is hit the scissor sweep. So just know that if somebody's trying to shut it down, it's actually quite easy to shut down. But assuming that they're not, our goal is to get a shin across our partner's hip. And in the gi, we would try to get a cuff grip. We've already talked a little bit about grips and how to roll, so we won't get into too much detail here. But my goal, basically, and we talked about this in the overview, is I'd like to control both posts to this side. I don't want my partner to have the ability to post. So you're probably going to see a scissor sweep taught like this a lot. People just knock the person over, scissoring their legs.
Against someone who sucks.
Yeah, against someone who sucks, that will absolutely work. But against someone who's good, particularly if they've got their weight based here, it'll be very difficult, one, to knock them over. Two, if I start to knock him over, Rory can like just backstep with your right foot and then find his base again. And now I'm actually kind of exposed. So you have to be careful when you're trying to scissor sweep people that you're not like extending yourself and overcommitting and then leaving yourself with your legs extended and your limbs extended, because they can move into passing. So that's just something to watch for.
So all I'm doing there to kind of make Rob's life more difficult is, instead of like what a white belt might do, keeping their knees really close together and having very narrow base over top, underneath their center of gravity, is I just start opening my knees up, widening my profile this way, so that now I'm going to be more stable to my left or right. And that's something that you see a lot.
And not only that, but what Rory's also able to do, even if I manage to knock this leg out of the way, is he can post this elbow on the mat. And now he's got extended base. I'm fully extended. I can't get up here. Like if I try to get up and Rory tries to get up, I'm taking a huge risk. He might actually be able to pass my guard. So because I haven't affected Rory's alignment enough, I'm just hoping that he's got bad balance to this side, and that when I knock this leg out of the way, he just falls down and chooses to stay down. But if he doesn't choose to stay down, I'm not controlling that far leg, and he's got a post here. So we're almost in an equal position, except I don't know if, you can see, my left foot is chambered on Rory's hip, whereas Rory's leg is in base, and he can withdraw his leg, and if we were to have a scramble there,
a race,
you would win every single time. So I'm gonna control, or I'm gonna focus a lot more on two things. I'm gonna focus on controlling this post, and so in the gi, this is easily done. I just row, and I get to my elbow, and I pull Rory forward as much as I can. In no-gi, this is a little bit tougher. We have to try to control the triceps and still get to our elbow. Either way, I need to bring Rory's center of gravity over my shin and load his weight up onto me. So you can see how Rory's hips have elevated and Rory's weight has come forward. I'm not gonna put
my elbow on the mat.
Yeah, exactly. So he can't post his left elbow.
Yep.
And when I knock this leg out of the way, I'm already in the mount. I've already encompassed his hips with my legs. So let's give an angle from here. So if I go like this and I don't pull him enough, he can put his elbow down. If I focus on pulling him more, load his weight up, knock him over.
Now even if I try to race the base in some way, because you're higher than me, I'm just gonna risk giving up my back or a submission.
So I'm keeping his elbow off the ground. I'm using my elbow as base to pull his arm off the mat, and I'm skydiving onto him. My heels are kind of curling towards my butt. I'm pulling myself directly into the mount.
That leg hook that they wouldn't quite have been able to see from that
angle. The back angle here.
Rob's catching my leg with the leg that kind of kicks out and sweeps me.
Just go a little bit this way. So as I pull him forward, my heels are curling. I'm pulling myself directly into the mount. So the important ingredient there, again, we talked about this in the overview, is that there isn't a scramble happening afterwards. There isn't a potential for Rory to get back into an athletic position. I'm denying him the ability to recover his base, and I'm denying him largely, and this isn't always going to be possible. Obviously, as somebody is a little bit more experienced, they won't necessarily let you mount them.
No.
They will be able to get their knee in. They'll move into a position called single leg X or ashigarami, depending on who you ask. And they'll have to, like, you'll have to pass the guard at that point. So, like, just so that people can see what that looks like, we might go from here to here, and then Rory gets his knee in the way. But as long as I do a good enough job of controlling both the elbow and the hand, preventing it from posting, and I do a good enough job of keeping my hips close to his hips, loading his weight up. So the Kazushi aspect of this is very much a, like, once I open my guard,
my center of gravity is back here, over top of my legs. I'm quite happy here.
it's either me using a grip on the collar or me using a grip on the back of the head and pulling his weight onto me.
I'm not liking this now.
Yeah. If I feel him pull back, I don't keep trying to sweep him. Because even if I do a pretty good job of controlling his elbow here, he's still able to just step out and recover his base. So because the distance becomes greater and greater from his hips to my hips, and he's still in a position to use his feet to just pop right back up on top, that's a bad time for me to make the attempt. I haven't broken his alignment enough. I got to here, he's got base, he's got posture. His structure is not great, but it's not bad enough that I want to take the risk. And as I extend myself, my structure is now bad. My limbs are extended, so I'm actually more vulnerable.
Now, there's some other little varying details that we're able to do with this, because another detail that you had showed me that I use all the time is instead of just cutting directly across the hips, which works really well, and especially when you load from the center of gravity, the knee diagonally, because what Rob's looking to do is try and access my spine as a lever. If I am here positioned like this, and Rob's shin is right across my hips, all he's trying to do is push my hips here and push my legs down here. And if Rob pushes me at my hips right now to try and knock me over, push me. Yep. I mean, why the hell would I move? But if Rob gets his shin up into my shoulders and my armpit, all of a sudden my spine's accessed as a lever and I fall over. So in this circumstance, instead of just doing a completely low knee shield like this, if Rob's up into my armpit, now even if he can't quite load my center of gravity as much, he's got greater leverage on my spine, so that as he kicks up into my armpit, it curves my back and sends me flying.
And this also gives me access to something that I prefer to use, especially against better people, which is rather than trying to chop this leg out so much, is kicking the knee out.
Yeah.
Again, like, it's all fine and good to pull people forward like this. Very hard to do it against better people. So by staying here, and in the case of the gi version of this, I'd use a cross collar grip. In no gi, I'd still be using this here.
I can stay back.
Yeah, I'd be building up to here, and then I'd just be catching his elbow and pushing him over like that. And again, you can see how much focus I'm putting on controlling his elbow. And let's rotate around here so people can see a little bit more. I'm also putting a lot of focus on keeping my feet here. So if he wants to like get back up, recover his guard, it's much more difficult to do it. I can actually, like if you try to technical stand up, I can actually push him back over with my left foot while pulling his other leg out. And then this gives me access to pretty immediate submissions.
You can see how badly my structure gets affected there, where that knee elbow connection we talked about earlier in the series, I get opened up right like this. That denies me any ability to get meaningful base, and I just collapse right down onto my side, and I have no athletic potential to be able to even try and scramble against you there.
Yeah, so we've kind of given you an overview here of what the scissor sweep can look like. And then like against people who have no idea what they're doing, against some idea what they're doing, and against pretty good people.
And what I also like about a high knee shield, it's got other limitations in the sense of offense, but it's really great defensively as a frame against the upper body.
Yeah.
Take a lanky freak like me.
Like if I use a low knee shield against Rory, he is going to be able to, oh God, and still reach me and crush me.
I can bend over, and my upper body and my arms are long enough that I can still get at Rob. But if Rob's blocking higher up at the end of the lever, up at my shoulder here, it's purely my arm length. You can see how I can't take advantage of being able to bend over top like this and to gain that distance to then reach.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and this allows us to play us from a further range out, like Rob was talking about, where it's like if we're in that more of a close guard range, or somebody's taking the bait, or they're happy to kind of be at that range, they might shift their center of gravity a little bit more into you, where you're going to be able to control it, load it, and do more of a low knee shield scissor sweep. But when we're in a circumstance like for me, where I'm here like butterfly guard, I'm able to start looking at getting these grips and being further out like this, and being able to still just move in and be very defensive from here, but then also be able to start working on still affecting my ability, my opponent's ability to react to me shifting the center of gravity off to the side. So you have some different ranges that you're able to work with that scissor sweep.